China's official growth rate is projected at 4.5% to 5%. But trusting CCP's official figures is like trusting a bank robber with your life savings. The real GDP growth rate may be as low as 2% according to China's own experts. Gao Shanwen, the chief economist at SDIC Securities and a former official of China's central bank, said recently, quote, "My own speculation is that in the last 2 to 3 years, the real number for GDP growth, on average, might be around 2%, even though the official number is close to 5%, unquote. Gao also highlighted how the GDP slowdown has led to a loss of 47 million jobs in urban Chinese areas. So, did he get away by making such revelations? Absolutely not. His punishment for highlighting the real 2% growth rate was censorship from social media. In China, questioning the Communist Party's official figures often leads to censorship, motivated investigations, and in some cases, even detentions. According to this report in Newsweek, even former Chinese Premier Li Keqiang has questioned CCP's official data. China's growth rate had plummeted to 3% in 2022 after the Wuhan virus pandemic. Although CCP is keen to project recovery by insisting GDP growth is close to 5% this year, the reality, according to many experts, is that Beijing's GDP has failed to rebound or recover. Now, Gao is not the only person facing such crackdown, as the CCP is attempting to shape the narrative around its faltering economy. This report highlights how the Securities Association of China has now directed various brokerages firms to fire experts and economists who make, quote, inappropriate comments about the Chinese economy. It highlights another economist, Peng, who too is facing CCP's wrath. The article adds, quote, authorities swiftly restricted their social media accounts. This crackdown extends beyond individual cases. The SEC now requires economists to seek approval before participating in events or sharing opinions, unquote. But this practice has been going on in China for years. In fact, a CNN report in December 2023 highlighted how at least 6 economists had been banned from social media for questioning the CCP narrative even back then. Included in the list was Liu Jipeng, who was an advisor to the CCP government. Liu's fault was advising the retail investors in China to exercise caution before investing in the stock market. His account too was restricted on social media.
But this habit of trying to silence China's critics extends all the way to social media. I mean, even our comment section is full of Chinese trolls or Chinese bots who do not even accept World Bank or IMF data on India versus China growth and call it fake news. We do our best to ignore them.
Another Chinese economist and internet celebrity, Ren Zipeng's social media account went offline until at least December 24th. A notice later stated, quote, this user is currently banned for violating relevant laws and regulations, unquote. Ren Zipeng had spoken out on the issue of aging population and declining birth rates on Weibo, which is China's equivalent of the platform X. He had posted, quote, the central bank should print an extra 2 trillion yuan to encourage society to have 50 million more kids in 10 years. This can solve China's low birth and aging population problems and energize the future without burdening people, companies and local governments, unquote. Instead, the CCP banned his Weibo account. Aging population and low birth rates are China's other big problems apart from a faltering economy. According to figures available, 12 million babies were born in China in 2020, which was an 18% decline from 2019 figures of 14.65 million. In fact, the 2020 figures neared China's lowest birth rate in 6 decades. Chinese social media have also banned stock market commentators like Dan Bin, chairman of Shenzhen-based Fiso Arbor Investment Management, and Mr. Liu, a professor and director of the Capital Finance Institute at China's University of Political Science and Law. Amidst an economic slowdown, the worst may yet be ahead, with China expected to get hit the hardest by Trump tariffs. Donald Trump last week stirred the tariff pot once again by threatening to levy a 10% punitive duty on any Chinese imports. Now, highlighting the economic troubles of China, though itself global news, is not the point of this news report. After all, even India is projected to have just 6.4% growth rate for 2025 amidst global economic slowdown. And while the World Bank and the IMF both predict India to remain the fastest growing large economy in the world, the slowdown from expected 7 to 8% growth rate is a cause of concern. However, while economists and experts are free to question the government policies in India, doing so in China often leads to censorship and even detentions. The second largest economy in the world is grappling with financial troubles marred by property sector downturn, weak consumer spending, and high youth unemployment. Addressing the nation on the occasion of the Lunar New Year, Chinese President Xi Jinping vowed to strengthen the economic recovery. President Xi stated, quote, "Over the past year, in the face of complex and severe situations, we have responded to events with composure, implemented measures comprehensively, overcome difficulties, and pushed each other to forge ahead," unquote. China has fallen far short of its nominal GDP growth target for 2 consecutive years, with a 4.6% versus a 6.9% target in 2023 and a 4.1% versus a 7.4% target in 2024. The question is, can they believe the CCP's projection of a 5% growth rate in 2025, or are those numbers being beefed up to influence investor sentiment? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.